So, The Haunting of Lin-Manuel Miranda was written as a response piece to Lin-Manuel Miranda's Hamilton, which, is the musical phenomenon that he wrote largely based off of biographer Ron Chernow's biography of Alexander Hamilton. And this response piece was written by Ishmael Reed, who is an internationally acclaimed novelist.
I think it forces a conversation about what is real and what's not real. And in the last couple of decades, we've had a real challenge determining truth from lies. And particularly when you think of Thomas Jefferson and George Washington as our founding fathers, but in reality, every one of them were slave owners. And they had a great opportunity in developing the Declaration of Independence. Was not independence for anyone but property-owning white men.
Hey, to Camp Alexander Hamilton. I've just been reading this letter from a guy who asked me to lease him a couple of slaves. The nerve of the guy. He's complaining that I send him flawed products.
These are real people, but they're their untold stories. So we get an opportunity to give them a voice and allow them to speak their pain, their hurt, what they experience on stage, which you don't hear in the musical of Hamilton.
Yeah.
A lot of these people can go to balls and picnics while slaves and indigenous servants did all the work. They were broke.
Ishmael Reed actually paints in this piece Lin-Manuel Miranda in a very sympathetic light, that he did not set out to send this message about Hamilton being this great abolitionist. There was no sort of negative impact that he was meaning to cause with his work. He, like so many of us, read a book and was suddenly an expert on that subject.
I read his book. I based Hamilton on his book. It's over 800 pages long.
You should have read books by black people to see how they feel. These white historians didn't even give me a name. They merely call me Negro Woman Child.
The message of the Hamilton show glorified all of the positives and essentially took out the reality. We do things to provide for our families, and Hamilton was doing what he could to provide for his family at the time, but Lin-Manuel obviously did not put that on stage. He put the heroics of Hamilton on stage, whereas this one is just bringing to light more of that, who he really was in terms of ethics, his ideology.
They've learned something about history that they didn't know. They've learned something about people who lived in that time that, like for example, there was one character, she was only given the name Negro Woman with Child. That's all she got. She didn't even get her real name, and so she gets to tell her story on stage, and we get to learn something from it. And there's some funny parts, and like I said, there were some ghostly parts, but I really do think I really would hope that people would leave here learning something new that they didn't know about these characters who have not had a chance to have their voice heard. Characters in this play that are typically white or Caucasian characters that we actually cast with black actors, in the same sense of kind of reclaiming some of that history and kind of sharing, they've done it this way, we can also do it that way, and how do audiences feel when they see that, and giving just a different perspective on that. So, as this is a ghost-themed play, like these ghosts come to haunt Lin-Manuel Miranda, wouldn't it be cool to kind of come through kind of a dark theater as an audience member and then sit on the stage and then look out at the empty audience while the show is playing? So we've had a lot of fun creating this theater on the stage. Some other things that we did is there is a Native American person in this play, and we really struggled to find Native American actors, and so we are able to utilize video to bring a Native American actor to the play. And so this is taking place in the living room, so there's a TV in the living room, so the ghost appears on the TV. So we've had a lot of fun with doing some things, just making it unique.
We're indigenous to North America.
I hear that the Inuit were indigenous, but the rest of you crossed the Bering Strait. I also hear that there's another theory that you came from the South. So that doesn't make you indigenous. You're immigrants, just like the rest of us.
We were here before your people came. Besides, the Navajo reject the Bering Strait theory.
Audience members walk away from something, particularly something that is rooted in some sort of social issue, in some sort of historical narrative, that they understand that the oblige is on them to do some more research. People necessarily know when they go to see a production of a historically based work that they're not actually getting the full story or all sides of the story, or that there are potentially large pieces of information that are being left out.
And I feel like it will provide some context for people that watch Hamilton. Because like I said, I still love the show. Even doing this piece, I love both of them from just what I've done so far and what I've experienced with them. And this it reinforces the fact that I should obviously do some research. I should be well informed as a consumer of the arts.
And I'm a 150% believer that the arts can solve all the
Yes.
problems of the
Yes.
world if we just let them. And it brings people together that would otherwise not be in the same room.
It's also the conversation for local citizens of Chattanooga and how we're supporting the arts in our city. Immediate and global awareness is something that I would really encourage to all viewers, whether they're going to see Hamilton, whether they're coming to see our show, both, whether they're seeing things at the Signal or at JJ's Bohemia, wherever you're seeing things, just to remember that there is both the micro and the macrocosm, and they're inextricably linked.